Welcome to MyrtleBeachConnections.com, and today we're privileged to have Gina Barker here, and we're good friends. She has been part of me and Lisa's life for many years. We've watched you transition in life, and you've always been an amazing person to watch. You do marathons, you really go for it. You've inspired a lot of people, and one of the newest transformations in the last several years is moving more into this counseling realm. Now, you've always been a great in education. How long have you been in the education world?
I guess since 1994.
Correct. And like not too long ago, you were at Coastal Carolina University.
That's right. Well, that's what brought me to the area. So I taught there for 4 years.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad you came through that door. And so at some point in your life, it sounds like and looks like you wanted to go and help people at a more in-depth level. And so Gina has counseling. She's a psychotherapist and a counselor, and the name of her counseling consulting ministry or therapy is Turning Point Counseling and Consulting. And I would just love to hear, and I'm sure the audience would love to hear, how they can connect with you, but not only that, but who should connect with you, and why do you do what you do?
Okay, yeah, sure. I'm a licensed professional counselor and also a licensed addiction counselor, and I've been in this field for 4 years, which is really something I have on my heart for a very long time, and it just sort of came into fruition this last season. And basically what I do is I provide psychological wellness to my clients. People typically come with symptoms of anxiety, depression, or relationship conflicts or substance abuse problems, and they need some guidance and some help getting unstuck and finding direction. I chose the name of my practice very deliberately. I thought about it for a long time, but I wanted to provide a turning point, because I think people often, they come to me often, they realize that they're going down a path that's not going to end well or where they want it to end, and so they look for someone to help them figure out what is not working in my life and how can I make it better, and how can I get on track for what's really purposeful and meaningful to me. So I help a lot of different people, variety of ages, some couples. I specialize in trauma, but not solely so. I try to do a little bit of everything because I'm really curious and I don't want to be too specialized. I like to learn and grow. I don't necessarily turn people away. I do a quick phone interview usually before I take on a client, and I learn a little bit about their goals, and if I sense that it's not a good fit, then I would send them elsewhere. But that's how it works. And then I love what I do.
Sure. So if I have a friend or I'm a parent and I have a child, not even when I say child, it could be a young adult, it could be a grown person, and they're going through drug addiction, say, because you had brought that up. Mm-hmm. And would you say a lot of the traumas in life are part of the reason why some of us went down paths to try and blunt those feelings and find other avenues, but that's something that you specialize in, helping them get unstuck, which would be your whole turning point?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point, Mark, because the reason I got the second license in addiction counseling was not so much that I wanted to help people in active addiction, because honestly, individual counseling is probably, in most cases, not the best venue. Usually, if people are looking to break off a pattern of addiction, they really need more specialized and often more intense treatment than I can offer. But you're so right in that trauma and substance use is very linked, and so it's really good to have that background and that understanding when I do help people heal from their trauma.
Yeah, so I think, as we were talking earlier, you understand that you even said that you take the time to go to counseling and you're a counselor. Can you explain why you do that?
Oh, I think counseling is for everyone, and I'm not a hypocrite. So if I believe in my product and my service, I want to be a consumer as well. So yes, I do think counseling is something that is good for everyone, just as accountability and a place to unpack and get some expertise help. So I usually I have a counselor I see about every 2 months or so.
I think that's fascinating, because the stigma of you're going to a counselor, there must be something really wrong with you. But what you're saying, no, that's different. It's a lifestyle of checking in with someone, and you're working together, and that's our loved ones that we're helping every day. And there's times when people get to, I think, a place in my profession, they get to a place where I have to say, you really need a professional counselor, right? And then, but they go, no, I got Aunt Sue, and I got, my cousins and my friends, and they're helping me through it. But when we really do love people or care for people, like I know you do, the turning point whole thing is really showing your heart. I didn't leave the education or the field that you were in. All you're doing is you're adapting something else to it to go deeper to help people, it looks like. But maybe Aunt Sue just can't help someone, and it may be time to look someone in the eyes and say, you need professional counseling because I love you. And I think that I feel as though people avoid it. And can you tell me why maybe people avoid wanting to come to counseling?
Oh, certainly. And just to circle back to what you said first, I think family members can certainly absolutely help. But I think the benefit of being a counselor is that I'm an objective party. I'm invested in my clients, obviously, but I'm not in a relationship with them. So It's not personal to me. And so therefore I can, be more objective in the way I help people. And your second question was, sorry.
What? No problem. So why would,
why do people avoid counseling? That's a good question. Why do people avoid pain? Why do people avoid, going deeper? I think it's the same. Avoidance is a really common issue. Honestly, I can say I avoided psychology for most of my life because I thought if I really find out what's wrong with me, I'm just going to be devastated. So I think sometimes as people realize that there are some things that are just not working, and it can be pretty scary. But I try to take the scary out of it. I'm not a very scary person, so I make the process really palatable and comfortable and safe and compassionate. So and I all counselors do. I mean, we're all trained to do what I do. Most counselors have the same basic competence to just be that therapeutic presence, because the healing is really in the relationship. It's in the ability to sit with somebody who's listening attentively to them and who's completely attuned to them and focus on what they need, and that's in itself is incredibly healing. A lot of people don't have that in their personal lives. They're busy, just everybody just wants something from them, and nobody is giving them time or attention.
I think that's very well said. And for me, I feel as though also there's this covering that you bring of protection. What's said in the room stays in the room. People can come and really the ones that are hurting, that can't really just air it out to families and friends. They're hiding it. It give that safe spot to be able to come in and say, look, I'm about to lose it and I have no other place to go. And they probably end up at your doorstep, because most people, based on that question I asked you, is why they avoid, is they usually have to wait to have to change before they choose to change.
I think that's true of all of us. It's just human nature.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yes, absolutely. And but you help be that change agent. You're helping that turning point.
That term.
Yeah. So now you get to confide in you, trust in you, and then all the time and effort you put into learning, because it's not just it's not theoretical only. You're actually took the time to go to school to learn, to be able to do things that you can help them untie things, move forward, give them back hope. So it is all got a clinical aspect to it as well. So
yeah, I think I have a really good clinical background, and I also learn every day. So it's sort of that combination of having a really good skill set, a good toolbox, but also just being teachable and open-minded and just sort of learning what's in front of me.
And you stay very busy.
I am, yeah.
So that says a lot. That means you're producing fruit. That means people are coming and they're having their lives changed, or you wouldn't be busy.
Right. I get a lot of referrals, which is a nice compliment. And for those who are interested, I have a website, so people can find me at turningpointcounselingandconsulting.com, or other ways. You can just Google my name and usually come up. So.
Yeah, and we'll put in the description for anyone who is interested in finding their way to Gina and what she does. We'll put it in a description so that you can click the link, and I'm hoping we'll be able to make it so that we can link it right to your website. We'll put your email in there as well and the contact information. So if you know someone out there that's hurting, or if you got a family member and you get them to the place where they're okay with counseling, or maybe you yourself, maybe you're at the end of your rope and it's time for change, and you need someone to be that change agent, that turning point in your life, I highly recommend Gina. And it goes beyond some clinical thing here. We're actually friends with Lisa and I. We've been friends for years, and that's a shout out, because to me, I feel like the best referral are the people that you really know. So if you would like to get in contact with her, we'll put the description in there. Thank you guys for watching Myrtle Beach Connections, and Gina, thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.